These letters written by kids were all discovered years later. In 1985, when they were 10, best friends Bryant, Drew, Travis, and his kid brother Lance had an idea.
We thought one day it'd be a cool idea to say, hey, you know what, let's put a note in a bottle and give it a whirl and see what happens.
They told Ann Mercogliano they wrote a message in a bottle and tossed it into the bayou just outside Houston.
Did you ever think about the note over the years?
No, to be honest, I did maybe a year or so once we did it, but we completely lost track of it.
No, I never thought of it. I mean, we're talking almost 30 years ago.
27 years later, in 2022, Terry Pettyjohn was cleaning a beach with a bunch of volunteers when he found a thick green bottle.
There's this bottle buried, so I kind of reached down and had to kind of pull it, dig it. I looked and it's sealed. I said, oh my God, this is a note.
It said, if you find this, please call. If not home, please leave it on answering machine. It was signed Travis, Brian, Drew, and Lance. Terry called the numbers, but they had been disconnected a long time ago. So he turned to Facebook.
Bada bing, bada boom. We found Brian.
After all those years, the bottle traveled 2 miles.
I bet that bottle was heavy enough, it actually wouldn't float.
So interesting to think that all the hurricanes and the many other storms, it only went 2 miles.
One of the guys, Travis, had died unexpectedly 2 years before.
Do you think he was sending you a message?
100%. It was just a sign. You kind of get goosebumps right now talking about it.
We thought maybe it was a message from above from him that letting us know he's okay.
In 2016, a message put in a bottle 3 decades before was found by this little boy and his mom.
We thought it would be fun to put a note in a bottle like you see on TV and throw it in the ocean and see what happens.
Jan Nelson wrote this message for her son, Chris. It said, "Hi, my name is Chris. I am 10 years old and in the 5th grade. I live in Sacramento, California. Call me when you find this to let me know where it floated to shore." It gave a phone number and the date, September 5th, 1988. The message bottle was discovered by Heather Baird and her 5-year-old son Ryder while they were walking on the beach in Mendocino, California.
It was surreal. It's just like, this can't be happening, because you read stories like this in the local newspaper and stuff, but when it was actually your kid or it was you that was there, it's pretty cool.
Jan took this photo of her son Chris and his stepbrother at the beach on the day he tossed the bottle into the Pacific Ocean. Chris was now 38 years old and he and his mom were estranged.
Are you hoping that this found message in the bottle leads to some sort of reconciliation?
That would be like winning the lottery, the Powerball. It would be better than that. So yes, inside my heart I am.
So how was this 3-decade-old mystery solved? The phone number on that message in the bottle was disconnected long ago, but John Lewis of the data analysis company Intelligence used his resources to track its history.
When we called and I asked her, she immediately said, "Oh my God, that was my son, wasn't it?" And she knew, and I texted her the picture, and she said, "I wrote that note."
I'm blown away.
In 2018, these 2 cops worked together for years, and they were stunned when they realized they had an earlier connection. In the early 2000s, Sheriff Jim Johnson served in Iraq with the Wisconsin Army National Guard. While he was there, he got letters from school children.
I held on to all of them. And then I came across a name that looked really familiar to me. Dear soldiers, thank you for what you all are doing for our country. Best wishes and have a Merry Christmas
from Chris Swindall, a 4th grader at Cedar Grove, Belgium Elementary School in Wisconsin.
That's right, the little boy who wrote the letter is now Johnson's co-worker. Johnson showed Officer Chris Useldig the letter.
I said, "No, you sent it to a soldier in Baghdad, Iraq." He goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, you sent it to me."
I was kind of stunned, I guess, that I didn't remember it all, so I was kind of stunned that, thinking back, it's crazy to think about that this letter touched Sheriff Johnson and he was able to share that with me and keep it for these, all these years.
It makes you realize how small the world is. It truly does.
Dear Michelle, you are so strong and so wonderful.
From 2018, this letter was from Meghan Markle.
I am here if you ever need me. I love you, Meghan.
Michelle Finara, who went to high school with the Duchess, has cherished it ever since she got it 20 years before in 1999.
It just kind of made me feel a little bit more special because she didn't have to write me a letter, but she did.
Michelle used to be shy in school. She got to know Meghan on a class trip.
I wanted to retreat into my own shell, and Meghan was like, no, you can't do that. You're here for a reason. So she just kept kind of pulling me out of my shell a little bit.
Little did she know that her pen pal would become a princess. In 2024, Hope Carew gave a toast at her brother's wedding.
Don't kill me.
Allison Hall has more.
She's about to read something he wrote, laying out exactly how he planned to propose to his future bride. And get this, when he wrote it, he was just 9 years old.
I am a multi-billionaire who is madly in love with you. It is midnight, and I sneak you onto our private jet. I am waiting with a romantic blanket set up and wine. We drink a few glasses, then begin to make out.
Hope held on to her brother Griffin's handwritten note for all these years, waiting for this moment.
I read it and I about died laughing. It's just like the perfect thing to read at a wedding.
When she walked up on stage with a framed letter, I knew we were in trouble.
The next day,
We leave for another location on my yacht.
then I buy you whatever you want.
And I obey your every command.
Griffin read the romantic love note from the past to his bride, Alyssa.
I take you to the top of the Eiffel Tower and ask, will you marry me? With a $130 million ring.
Whoa, that's an expensive ring.
You say yes, and then we go back to our hotel and have lots of romance.
And I obey your every command.
For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Andrea Swindall.